TxStampin, Sharon. I've been busy making some more thank you cards, and I decided to do something different, so I can't wait to share them with you. If you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. I invite you to hit the subscribe button below and then hit that notification bell. You'll be notified every time I upload a video or I do a YouTube live. If you currently do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would be honored to be your demonstrator. If you need catalogs, need to contact me, need to go shopping on my online store, you can find out all that information in the description box below. Let me show you my cards. I'm still making thank you cards for my friend, and I wanted to kind of change things up a bit. So I pulled out, first of all, did you know that you can go to my store and in the search bar, you can type thank you. Like you want to know all the stamp sets that Stampin' Up! Currently has that have any kind of thank you in it. So when I did that, Country Home came up, but Simply Thankful for All the Good Things doesn't quite apply to her need for the cards. So I wanted to kind of change things up. But the first thing I did was I challenged myself not to use the watering can or the milk can. It was tough because I've used this stamp set before, but I've always used those big items. I decided to just stick to the flowers. This little image had never even been inked up, so I was excited to pull that into one of my cards. So then I pulled out Flourishing Phrases because the thank you so very much really applies more to her needs. And so these are the two stamp sets that I'm working with today. And I'm going to change things up the way I do my videos. Normally, I show you my sample cards last, but these cards are also different. And so the actual card I'm making is totally different, again, than what you're going to be seeing first. So this one, I just stamped on Very Vanilla with the black memento. I just stamped the image, wrapped some ribbon around it, layered it on black cardstock, done. Okay, pretty simple. Then I did the same thing because I looked at the ribbons that I had, and I did the same thing on gray granite, easy. And then this one, I stamped the cotton arrangement, that's the word I want. So I stamped it 4 times, and originally I was going to do the card this way, and this was going to take up too much color. So then I just colored with the Stampin' Blends, stamped the thank you so very much, layered it. But there's that little tile thing I told you about because this image, this layer ended up being a lot smaller and didn't fit on my card front, so I pulled those in. So great different ideas for using this. So how about if we use some designer series papers? I've got tons of that laying around. How about you? And so I decided these were nice, bright, cheery colors, and I pulled in the same colors that come in the paper. So on today's card, I'll be using soft suede ink pad, and then I'm going to use the craft ink. Currently, this is an old one that I've had for years, but currently when you buy the craft white, it comes with the stamp pad uninked with a ink refill in the container, okay? But mine came already inked, and I love my white pad. I have a layer of crumb cake that I cut this way. It is 4 1/4 by 11, scored and folded at 5 1/2. I took a layer of crumb cake again, and this one is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I ran it through the tile emboss folder because I just felt like it just goes with the stamp set. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white ink pad, and I'm just going to drag the pad across it like this. So the other card that I still have one more card to share with you, is real similar to this, but you're going to see the difference of doing this with the white pad versus how I did the other card. Okay. I'm going to add this layer to my card front using liquid glue because that liquid glue, as you've heard me say, if you've watched me for any time, gets down in all those embossed areas and helps prevent this card layer from popping off. Worst thing is to mail a card and then have it pop off in the mail. Now the craft white ink is a little tacky. You can see I got some on my fingers. It does take some time to dry, but you know what? I've had worse inky fingers than that. I like to just take my little hand sanitizer, spritz a little bit of that so that nothing else I touch doesn't get the white on it. Like I've got some soft suede layers, and look how clean. Love my hand sanitizer. All right, so I have a layer of Whisper White that measures 2.5 by 2.5. I have a layer of soft suede that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. My sentiment layer, which is Whisper White, is 1 inch by 2.5. My soft suede matte is 1 1/4. My soft suede is 1 1/4 by 2 3/4. Now we're gonna do our stamping. I saw a lady do this the other day to close these pads, and I was like, brilliant, because then you don't get ink. And I have on a white shirt, so I've been kind of scared to stamp with this shirt on, but I was like, oh, I don't want to make a mess with that. So I was kind of thrilled to see her little trick. Where did I see that at? I don't know. I watch so much YouTube and I watch Facebook Live things. I don't know. I don't know where I saw it. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp our image on here. And I'm actually stamping with soft suede, and I'm going to use my Stampin' blends. Just realized that that is a photopolymer stamp, and I need a little bit of padding. That's not the one. I'm pulling out crushed curry. This was the lighter of the crushed curry. And then years ago, or not too long ago, Stampin' Up! Had a green called Always Artichoke. So I was looking in my stash for that. I was like, oh, we don't have that anymore. So this is Mossy Meadow, and I'm gonna color my artichoke. Then I have the dark Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to use the finer tipped end, the bullet end, to color my berries. I think I got them all. And now I'm going to use the lighter version of Old Olive to color the rest of the greenery. So I was pretty happy with this look, stamping with soft suede instead of black memento. It seems to be handling it just fine. I was a little scared at first, but you know, when we first got Stampin' Blends, they said to use it with memento because our other ink pads are water-based. But as you can see, I'm not having any bleeding. So test before you trust what I'm saying on your project, because your inks may be different, and I wouldn't want to be the one to have ruined your project. All right, I'm gonna take and just go back with the, not always artichoke, with the light Mossy Meadow and color my little leaves. Now to assemble our card. Everything's gonna get the love of some dimensionals. Since I'm always having new subscribers, I always like to mention this tip. I take my fingernail and I just dig into that backing so that when I'm ready to pull them off, they come off a lot easier. Coming back to my card, adding these elements down here. And if you'll notice, my soft suede is the same size, 2 3/4, and my Whisper White is 2.5. I loved the look of that. All right, so one more layer for the inside, because to write on crumb cake is just too dark. All right, let me show you the difference between this card and this card. This card, I took a sponge and my soft suede ink, inked it up, and I brushed across like I did the white. I just brushed across that. And I used Very Vanilla on my layers. But look how different both cards look. It's the same thing. It's the same elements, except changing up a few small items. I hope I've inspired you to pull out a stamp set. Don't use the main images, use something else and come out with totally different projects. You know, it helps bring new life to a stamp set when you think, oh, I've used it so many times. Challenge yourself, because it really was quite fun to do it this way and make them all look so different. If you need a current catalog, you can find my information in the description box below. You can contact me, and as long as you live in the continental United States, I can send you a catalog for free. Happy stamping, y'all!